Wake 'em up, wake 'em up. It's Wednesday. Wake 'em up, wake 'em up. It's Wednesday. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning. What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Coach Eb, your favorite wake up coach. Y'all know what it is. Every single Wednesday, we come right here on this platform in YouTube, coming to y'all with a pain into power story. People are out here taking negatives and turning them into positives. Okay, they're out here taking their pain, flipping it, reverse it, making it do what it do, and going out and get theirs. So tonight, I have another family member, as I promised for Black History Month. I told y'all I was coming for the men in my family, and that's what it is. I have another cousin brother here with me on this evening to talk about how he turned his pain into power. My cousin Aaron Smith, aka Fridge. Y'all know what it is. Go
Yeah,
and introduce yourself.
yeah. Yeah, so my name is Aaron. They call me Fridge. Ain't heard that in a long time, but that's the name that stuck with me. I'm the youngest in my family. I'm the youngest of six. Uh, and so, yeah, me and Ebony, we cousins, first cousins. We've been rocking ever since I remember getting to Saginaw. So let's get it. Let's get to talking.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm honored to be able to do this with you. So I'm ecstatic that you said yes to this. So tell us, tell me, talk to us about a time you had a negative, you had a pain, you had something that was on your last nerves that burdened you, and you took that thing, you spun it around, and you turned it into power. Go ahead, tell your success story. The floor is yours, Fridge.
All right, all right. For me, it's kind of been over my lifetime, and I've been thinking about all the different times that something has been, to say, traumatic, like an experience that has stuck with you, that you've been able to draw from. At least I have been. And it's not like I don't want people to think of it as like living in the past, but I know my previous episode, shout out to my brother Boosie, he said, sometimes you got to go into the dark, and like that's what it is. It's like you got to get those moments. I think even in like the MJ documentary, they were talking about he would make stuff up just to get himself hyped up. Sometimes you got to do stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? It just depends. But I know over my life, a couple of situations that uh, I look back now on and I look at and I see that I've taken the pain from that and I've turned it into success. Um, I would say like the start of what I can remember would be being young, being in high school, and I started having issues with my dad, and it got to the point where um, when I graduated, we basically wasn't talking, and then I hadn't talked to him for like 10 years, so. I hadn't talked to him until like I was 28. And the reason why I kicked up conversation is because I was getting ready to have my daughter. And I felt like it'd be disrespectful of me not to let him know. He still is my dad. But so like we got into it because he saw, I guess, a different way or chose a different way to raise me. Like what my perspective was is I see all my brothers like they doing their thing, and I told him about this too. Like who is 1 year older than me, he'd be out doing his thing, but I'll be at the house. My dad is on my like on me. I remember this one situation. My dad told Kubi to sweep up some glass, and Kubi didn't do it. He was out with the homies though, so my dad he swept it up anyway. Kubi didn't get in trouble at all. I was like, what? What? And so like my dad, he was coming down on me, and I'm like. I'm not to say like the rest of my family was doing bad, but like I was a good kid. Like so you didn't have to talk to me about my grades, like doing the right thing. Like I looked up to my parents and I tried to follow and emulate all the stuff that they did. But then I started learning that it wasn't all good in the neighborhood. And so with my dad, there was a situation where we got into a physical altercation. He provoked me, and like he provoked me physically and verbally. And then I was just like, I remember I remember Kubi entering the room. I forget who I was talking to, but I was like, my dad had me in a headlock too. So, so I was in a headlock and I was like, "Hey, get him off me," because I'm like 17 at the time, and I know, I know I got some kind of strength. So it's like that's one of those moments. Like I know, like down the road, my son gonna may have the same encounter with me. You know what I'm saying? Okay, if I put him in that situation, but like I was just like, I don't know what's happening right now. Like I don't know why my dad is on me like this, and so that's spun into a whole thing because I had a whole bunch of people, even internally from the fam. I ain't gonna say a whole bunch of people. So grandma sent me a letter saying I should apologize to my dad, and I didn't understand none of this. Like, why should I apologize when I didn't do anything. You know what I'm saying? Like my dad provoked me. He put his hands on me. Like it got to the like not only did he have me in a headlock, but he was shoving his finger in my face like this. And I'm like, all right. And so like I just remember telling my mom at one point, you know what I'm saying, like I didn't want to so I went and signed up for the military. And I remember like going to tell my parents I signed up for the military and the response was, and I think it was more so like from my dad rather than the response that I remember basically was, why'd you go and do that? I'm like, I'm getting physically assaulted in here. Like, and then plus I told him, I said, if I go do something out on the streets, y'all not coming to get me. So it's like I don't really have nothing here. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I gotta go do something. So rather than staying in the house that I left. So because of that, like that set the tone and that set the tone for relationships in my life because my dad being so close to me, I looked up to him. I looked up to him for guidance. And, you know, in 10 years, I don't have nobody because I'm in the military. I'm getting stationed different places. So I'm just out learning life on my own. I don't really have anybody to have those kind of talks or anything like that. And so, I took that pain of, what I'm saying, of being treated differently. And I turned it into, I have to show that I could be successful. And and it was kind of me being young at the time, it was a little in spite in there. Like I have to be better than my dad in spite uh, because of what was done, but also, you can I see looking back how it drove me to accomplish things at a faster rate. If let's say I would have never went through that, things would have been on a better. So I may not have had that much ambition without having that experience happen to me. And so, I feel like I accelerated my career in the military. Got promoted to E5 in 2 years, E6 in like four and a half, five, I think. And then I was fast tracking to be E7 like quick. I think like under 10 years. And so, like I just took all that, and in that situation, I was just like, um, because at that time, my definition of success was how far I could go in my career. That's what I was thinking at that time. But my definition of success is different now. And so I had took that pain from the situation with my pops, um, and I just turned it into how far can I go in my career to show whatever I felt I needed to show to get validation or to say like, okay, well, I did this. Now you can see where I'm at, even though you did such and such to me. But so that was a situation that I had. Another situation that I could tell you that I had, definitely being relationship with 10-year relationship with the mother of my kids. So I got two kids. Shout out to Samar. Shout out to Adrian. I see y'all. Y'all doing your thing. Uh, And so, that was tough. And similar to what, saying my brother was saying last week, I saw myself go from 200 pounds to 270, 280. I have to see you some pictures so you could like tag them at the end so you can see the transformation. Right now, I haven't weighed myself in a minute, but I know I'm between 200 and 210. And so, like when I got up to 280, this was probably like 2017. So I had met my ex 2000. let's say 2009, 2010. Um, excuse me. And so with that situation, it was um, you know just about any. I don't want to say just about anything that you could think of, but it was unfaithfulness, disrespect. It was a lot of stuff, and and even to this day, there's still things that I have to deal with that she feels she may be right on, or her perspective as to how things go. Like it's not like we don't have like the same, we don't hold the same values, so we bump heads a lot, you know. Um, and so like the pain from that is because like I'm big on like being with my kids. So um, it, when I was in my 20s, like I was going to the clubs and all that stuff with the homies and everything. But when I hit like 25, I was like, oh man, I'm done. I'm done with the clubs. Like I want to, what I'm saying, I don't want to be there no more. And so I had met her shortly after. Um, and my thought process going into this whole thing was like I had saw my parents be together for so long and then they got divorced. And again, it was a little bit of I want to be better than my parents. Like I got to be better than my parents. And so the reason why I had a lot of pain in this relationship is because when I went into it with the mindset that no matter what, I stick through everything. But that is one of the most dumbest things I have ever done walking into a relationship is to make a commitment before you truly find out who the person is. And so that's what brought me a lot of pain because I'm I'm going off of the potential this person could be and not who they actually are. You see what I'm saying? And so like everybody, this is the thing, everybody has potential. Everybody got it. But you need to actually know who the person is so that way you know in what areas they can and can't hurt you. See what I'm saying? And so once you learn, because I had to learn that when they say believe people when they show you who they are. You know what I'm saying? I had to learn that. And then you will you won't get hurt as much because then you won't put those people in positions to hurt you. See what I'm saying? So like if I know somebody can't if I know somebody ain't gonna show up for me if I call them at 3 in the morning, I'm not about to call them at 3 in the morning. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna take a chance of somebody else that I have a better rapport with to try and call it at 3 in the morning. So you just got to know, and it you just got to know how to use your to say resources, your friends. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's just like in business, you got to know how to use your resources to advance. And so I like one of the sayings that I heard. Um, who I can recall hearing it from recently was Joel Santana saying, "We're all here to be used. I just don't want to be misused." You know what I'm saying? Like so. In that relationship, there was a lot of hurt. You know what I'm saying? From the cheating, from the being away from my kids. Biggest thing is being away from my kids. Like I'm all about my kids. Like I could be at the house with my kids all day, like doing nothing. You know what I'm saying? And I'm all about the advancement in education and anything physical. You know what I'm saying? So like all my time I spend trying to advance them. Like most recently, I had a conversation with my ex's sister. She asked me how I felt about. So my kids living in New Orleans, so she asked me how I felt about my kids living in New Orleans, and I was like, it's bittersweet. And I told her, I said, well, you got to understand something. Like my daughter basically got recruited for. I'm not saying like she's super dope or super nice or anything like that. I'm just saying like this is what it comes off when she was telling me this is how it happened. So they was recruiting her to be on the basketball team, right? And so prior to her living in New Orleans, I was the one taking the kids to the court as much as I can, spending hours out there, like prepping them. Again, I'm not saying my daughter's super dope, but I was taking that time to instill those habits. See what I'm saying? And so now that she made the basketball team, she had a 3-point contest that she won, her first ever. So when her sister was asking me, I'm like, it's bittersweet because I was the one that was putting in the work with those kids, but I don't get to see none of it pay off. Like even if that's the only time that she played basketball, I didn't get to see it, but I was the one that planted that seed. Like her mom was not out there with me. You know what I'm saying? And so like that stuff hurt is because I didn't put myself in a situation to be away from my kids. When I said I had the mindset that I would stick through thick and thin, like that's what I was doing. I was sticking through numerous times of cheating, numerous times of lying, numerous times of manipulation. And it's just got to the point where now I'm depressed. I'm fat as hell. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not me. And so that put me into a huge depression. And just I remember getting to the point with me and her where like I was yelling, like we was in the kitchen, I was yelling, I was throwing stuff off of the counter, like dishes I bought, I was breaking all this, and this was in front of the kids, and like so, like it just didn't sit well, and so with that, I decided that I didn't have to live in the pain from all of that has happened, and now that I have detached myself from that situation, I've turned that pain into power by renewing my mindset because now there is no obstacle that's going to stop me from getting my kids back. I, I don't care. And every time I feel like there's an obstacle, I say to myself, I'm gonna run right through it. And I tell people, don't get in my way. Like especially on my path to my kids, don't get in my way. Like because a man determined is not a man to play with. And it was I ain't gonna say funny, but it was interesting that my ex's sister, she had made the comment that um so I helped to drive them to New Orleans, and so the day that I was leaving, um my ex's sister and her husband was dropping me off at the airport. So when I was having the conversation, she told me that her husband could see how sad I was leaving. And I was like, that's a fact. Like, yeah, I was hella sad leaving because this ain't the situation I ever like. You couldn't have told me I would be in this situation. I'd be like, oh yeah, okay, all right, oh okay. No, I'm like, I would never have thought this situation would have came about, but it did. So now I've had to learn how to deal with it. But the way that I've dealt with it again is by turning all of going into the darkness of everything that has happened and coming out coming out definitely being a different person. I ain't even gonna lie. I don't care who it is, they're gonna come out being a different person. And then just understanding the power that I have to start all over, the power that I have to speak freely. Because now, like one thing that my ex don't like, she don't like how I talk to her. I don't care, is because I don't owe you nothing. And so you need to look past how I'm saying stuff and look at what I'm saying. And so, for me, I have because I'm single, I have complete freedom to be me. And it's not to say like I didn't have it before, but I lost a lot of confidence being in such pain from that 10-year time frame being off and on trying to make stuff work that it just put me in that rut. But yeah, I'm back at it, and I started hitting the gym. So I combined using the gym um with my pain in order to help forge a better and stronger me because and I heard Kevin Hart say this. Um, the gym is where you go to build small habits, and that's the start. You know what I'm saying? And if you look at it, when you start building small habits in the gym, the results are your physical transformation. But the mindset of building small habits to results, the gym is the perfect place to show you that because it's a slow process. And a lot of people talk about they want to get from A to B at 0 to 60, but in life you got to understand that a lot of the times it's a slow process. How many instant winners do you know? Like no. So like all the real rich wealthy people, if you read their biographies, if you read their history, over time they had to build it. And so the gym is a perfect place to show that slow process over time. And then all that stuff that you do in the gym, those habits that you build in the gym are going to translate into other areas of your life. It's just like myself personally. Uh, so at work, I don't I don't give 100%. Let's be honest. I'm gonna be honest. You know what I'm saying? It's not that I can't, it's just that I don't need to because I'm not in an environment where they're looking. I'm not saying they're not looking for 100%, but it's not an environment where I have to do that in order to stay on top of what I need to stay on top of. So, um, I was having some tickets stack up in my queue, but I had a good week in the gym, and so because that I had a good week in the gym, that translated over into my work, and I was like, oh, okay, let me stop being a slouch and let me start doing, and let me go back. Actually, I said let me go back to when I was in my 20s, and just to prove to myself I still got it, not to anybody else, but I still got it. You know what I'm saying? Like I can still hang with any of these young people that's in here. You know what I'm saying? So everything has turned into proven to myself and not proven to anybody else. You know what I'm saying? Prove to myself, can I be disciplined enough to go to the gym? Can I be disciplined enough to eat the proper way? And so I think for me, like all these situations have helped to cultivate just a brand new person that has more power than before, has more light than before, has more shine than before, just has more everything, saying than before, especially more knowledge. And so, you know, my power now is just, like I said, being able to be free, being able to talk to other people, and just have those relatable experiences and not have to worry about, what people think because I know what I say isn't going to be for everybody, but somebody out there, somebody out there is going to hear it and somebody's going to say, okay, I could take this from that. I could take that from that. You know what I'm saying? And so I just, now I just, like I said, I just want to empower people to also step into their own confidence and be good with it. Because no matter what the situation is, no matter what the experience is, the traumatic experience is, you can always find something positive. No matter it may be hard, but there's going to be something positive, or what I'm saying, the I don't want to say choice, but an exercise that you can do after something traumatic is to try to look at the positive side. So that way, I know one of the things is like if people focus on negative so much, then that's going to be their path. And so, there was situation. There was a situation with one of my kids, and so um, I remember that the way other people was talking to my kid was more of like you should have did this, you should have did that, and I was like, "Ugh, I don't think this is the time to be talking like that right now. You know what I'm saying? And so I was talking from more of the aspect of how can you empower yourself to not ever have this happen again? Like we can talk about why they didn't come talk to whoever or whatnot, and that's all well and good. But let's talk about what can they do if they ever find themselves in a situation like that again. And that was my message, and that was my focus to my kid. Like I'm not here to talk. Well, why didn't you call me? Why? No, because I don't want them to think of I need to call my dad when something's happening to me. No, I want you to think, how am I going to protect myself? What do I need to do in this situation? What's happening right now? So I need my kids, I need their brains to be firing so that way they understand what's going on. Yeah, when you find yourself in a safe position, call me. I definitely want you to call me. But the first thing is always to take care of yourself. And so um, I hope when situations occur, people take that opportunity to empower whoever it is to find and think about ways to never let that situation happen again, rather than to kind of say like pile on them and be like, well, you should have did this or whatever. But that's my take on it. But yeah, I mean, we all got power. You just gotta find where it's at because it's in here somewhere. You know what I'm saying? And to be honest, like the traumatic events are the events that have you find out what you're truly made of. Like I'm not saying like the good events you can't figure that out, but it really is the traumatic events that find out like what you're made of, like how far are you willing to go, how far are you willing to, what I'm saying, think, how far are you willing to learn, how far or whatever it is. So you know, that's my take on it. But yeah, like over life is always gonna give us these painful and these traumatic moments. It's just we just gotta remember to, what I'm saying, not let them keep us down. And if I ain't gonna say I think everything happens for a reason, but what I will say is I notice things happen, and then for me later on in life, I'll be like, oh, that's why that was so prominent in my life at that time. You see what I'm saying? So it's like I kind of get like pre-warnings. You know what I'm saying? Like the universe will be sending me pre-warnings, and if you pay attention, like you'll see them. Because I'll be like, why is this just sticking out to me right now? Like, like, like later, like it could be days later, it could be months later, it could be a year later, and I'd be like, oh, like that's what that was. Okay, so, so yeah, but yeah, pain and power, like yeah, just dig down, dig deep. I know for myself, one of the things that I use to constantly remind myself is Motiversity. So on YouTube or Apple Music, like I look up Motiversity and they have speeches. Marcus Taylor, you can even I know what's his name? The dude from Detroit. I can't even remember his name. When you want to succeed as much as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. What was that? Eric Thomas.
Eric Thomas, ET.
Yep, yep.
There we go.
And but to me, like a lot of that stuff is like some real good stuff because they have those messages that I need to hear to put myself back into the right space. Um, but yeah, um, just whatever you find that resonates with you, use it as motivation. And it can be the smallest little things, but you can use it as like something motivating to just get you through. Because I know something like I be at the gym and I don't always listen to music. Sometimes I have to put on those motiversity things and they be talking to me crazy and I'm like, idiot. I mean, jeez. Like, yeah, I need to hear that. Like, I gotta put this work in. So, but yeah, pain and the power, like, yeah, plenty of experiences. But the main thing from all the experiences is you can just find and you got to dig deep down and just not succumb to the pain. It's gonna hurt, especially. I mean, it hurt with anything. Like you get cut, the recovery hurt. You get hit by a car, oh, you limping, it's still gonna hurt. You knock your head on so it's gonna hurt. So don't be afraid of getting hurt. Just understand that it's gonna take time to heal. Like all hurt takes time to heal. So, but yeah.
That's what's up. First and foremost, I'm going to say thank you for your service, first and foremost, as a veteran, okay, of the military. Uh,
Yeah.
don't be
Shout out
afraid.
to all my camo. Shout out to all my camo OG 31 series, about 25 Quebec. Yeah.
Y'all heard him. Y'all heard him. So something you said that success to you was how far you can go in your career.
Mm,
And you said you think different now about that, right? So now, what is success to you now?
Success for me now is making sure that my kids have what I didn't have in education and as well as in physical material things. And just making sure that I give them all of the knowledge that I didn't get. Oh, it's funny. I was so this is going back to like this is a conversation I was having recently with my dad. So when we talk about information that I wasn't getting, I was talking to the homie at work and I was telling him, I was like, yeah, I was like, my dad was telling me how, what I'm saying, he would get picked on as a kid and grandpa basically like he wouldn't tell him to like defend himself. So he was just getting ran down on every day, right? He said it wasn't until he went to his grandma's house that great grandma was like, "Now you gonna go out there and you gonna put them hands up, right?" And so she's like, and so I was listening to my dad, and so I was telling my dad, I said, "Well, if that's the lesson that you learned, why you let me get ran down on every day? Why didn't you tell me I needed to stick up for myself? Like, like what? Like that don't make sense. Like you got the answer, but you telling me turn the other cheek. You talking like you regurgitating the stuff that they telling you in the church, and I'm over here getting slapped around. And then I didn't learn about standing up for myself until I got into a fight right in front of my house. Dude was like he was pushing me, like was standing right on the porch, and all I remember is like I blacked out, and next thing you know, one of my brothers was pulling me off, and then like ever since that day, like we've been cool. Like he ain't never messed with me again. But that's when I learned you stand up for yourself. Hey, you ain't always gonna have these kind of problems. So I definitely like when I talk to my kids, I tell them the same thing. I'm like my son, he was telling me there's this kid who be walking up to everybody talking about some I'll beat you up. I said, we I said, I ain't here to teach y'all to take threats lightly. This kid's coming here every day saying that. I said, you don't know what this kid's intent is. I said, so set your boundary. You know what I'm saying? Like this is a perfect opportunity for you to learn how to set a boundary with other people. And this is real life. Like I told my kids, I said, has there ever been a time I told you to go tell the teacher if something happened? I said, no. I said, you better handle that situation. I said, don't let anybody play with you. Like we ain't here to like in real life, we ain't here to tell nobody. Like, no, I'm gonna tell you, don't play with me. Or so it's stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like especially about other human beings and real life stuff. You know what I'm saying? I didn't get the conversations about what it's like to be melanated in the workplace and the experiences that you're gonna have to go through. You know what I'm saying? So like I learned all this stuff firsthand. But these are conversations that I'm gonna have to have with my kids to say, like, hey, if this is the route that you're gonna go, these are all the things that you're gonna have to expect. These are some ways that you can navigate them. But at the end of the day, how you choose to respond, if you if you up here and people like saying all this crazy stuff, and you're like, hey, you might want to chill before I beat your. I respect that. You know what I'm saying? Because I ain't gonna tell you how to respond as a human being. I'm just gonna tell you this is what to expect. Now, so there's things like that. Financially. But success for me is just making sure, my kids is good, my family is good. I definitely want to. Um, I definitely do think finances are important, but it's no longer at the top. Like I've never been like a materialistic person, um, but I've always known that money is important to me because it gives me back time, and that time gives me the opportunity to work on problems, whether it's for myself, whether it's for family. But yeah, I see money as a tool for time. I don't see money as a tool for Benzes and condos and all that stuff. No, money is a tool for time so I can spend it with the people that I love. I don't want to be working super long and all that craziness. And so that's what I look at it as. So success for me is just being able to get to a spot where I'm able to have the time that I need and want to be able to spend with my family, create more memories, just, not have to work as much. But yeah, that's what success is to me now.
That's what's up. That's what's up. And your story that you just told, I'm laughing because I remember me and Kim was having a conversation with our dad, and he was telling us about how he used to get bullied and how grandma and them told him, listen, if you get in the fight, then you gonna come home and get a whooping too. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Cause then it took me back to middle school when I was getting picked on. And the old girl walked up to me and she was like, girl, I beat your ass. And I was like, scary me, oh, let me run and tell. So they was like, oh, she said she gonna fight you. What you gonna do? You wanna know what my response was? I'm gonna go tell the teacher.
Hey,
Everybody laughed at me. Everybody laughed at me. And I was like, what what y'all laughed was so funny? Because
mm,
what they were taught it to us, and I'm over here getting laughed at because I said I'm finna go snitch. And then she came back up to me and jumped at me, and I moved. Now I done fell out on the floor. Girl ain't even touched me. But oh, little fragile me, I'm on the floor like something really didn't happen. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
I'm like, okay, yeah, I can't mess with y'all no more. But that's what that just took me back to, and that was in middle school. I think that was the first time I was told that story myself. Okay. But when you talking about your relationship and what you went through with your relationship, and you said y'all was bumping heads because y'all had different values, and then something about um something when it comes down to getting to know somebody and being with them for their potential versus who they authentically are. And from that situation, you had a renewed mindset to where ain't nothing gonna stop me from me and my babies. Ain't nothing gonna get in between me. And if you do, good luck, because you ain't gonna get too far and you ain't gonna be there for long. And you said that going to the gym from you gaining weight, you said you went from like 2 to 275, 280, right? Is that what you said?
Facts.
And going to the gym is a slow process and it happens over time. So many people think we can sprinkle a little miracle grow on this little tummy over here and boom, it's gonna be gone. Literally everything in this world is a slow process that takes time, but a lot of us want stuff to happen so fast. So when you were going right before you went through that, did you think that things would pop off fast for you, or did you already understand, okay, this is a slow process and it's gonna take me some time, but I'll get there? Or you was like, hey, I want this done like now? What was your thought process before?
Mm.
Um, did you always know it was a slow process, or were you like, yeah, I need this, I need something like quick, fast, in a hurry to could work out in my favor?
I think in the back of my mind, I always did know that it was going to be a slow process, but I also wanted to accelerate the process. And so, um, once I got to I started out, I definitely started out slow. Like being 280, there's no reason that your first day in the gym, you should try being in there like 2, 3 hours. So I started out slow and it was just get to the gym. You know what I'm saying? And so honestly, like um I'll be having conversations with people and I tell them now, like I used to be like, hey, if you want to go to the gym with me, meet me such and such. You know what I'm saying? But now I tell people, like, if you want to go to the gym, the first thing that you should even think about is just setting an alarm and getting up for that alarm. Just make that the very first goal. That's it. Because when you setting yourself up to go do something that you've never done before, get up at this early and go to the gym, it's more than a 90, for me, I feel like it's gonna be more than a 90% chance it's not even gonna happen. So let's set the smallest goal, which is, hey, let me just start waking up at 4 o'clock this week. Oh, I'm up. Boom. You can go back to sleep, but you're creating the habit of getting up. And then you build on that. But see, but when we try to get too fast is because get up, let me get to the gym, let me get all my stuff, and you don't even know all the stuff that you need to take. You didn't prep, you didn't, and you feeling discombobulated because you're not just taking it slow. So honestly, right now, I'll just tell people to build slow. Take a week, wake up early, and then the next week, focus on doing a workout at home first because get yourself in the mood of moving your body first. Because when you get to that gym and you start thinking like you think, oh, I'm gonna start lifting this weight, and it hits you, the people, I ain't going back. But condition your body first, you know what I'm saying? So that way you're doing movements and everything or whatever. And then week three, you could be okay. Now let me focus on getting to the gym because I'm already getting up at 4. Now I'm already moving my body. Now I just need to do what? Change the location. That's it. And then once you start changing the location, then boom, you in the gym every day, or you in the gym consistently enough, 3, 5 times, whatever it is. I would say even if it's once a week, that's still good because then you just build on that to be even more. But that's how I look at it now, you know what I'm saying, in regards to getting back into the gym. But my process definitely was slow at first, but when I felt like I was ready to take the training wheels off, it was go time. Like I was on that elliptical for like hours. Like I would first start off because my conditioning was super trash. Like like every time I went to the gym, I was looking at the bottom of the trash can for some lungs. Like, "Ugh, let me get these." But yeah, so um once you get in there consistently, then it takes off, and you'll know when it's time because you'll be like, oh, this starting to feel like a little easy. So then it's like you want to challenge yourself, like, can I do more? Like, oh, I can do more. Oh, okay. Next week we go. Oh yeah. And so yeah, I mean, I do have in my mind like I would I can't wait to see the day that I feel I am where I want to be. And I think we're all going to have like a little bit of that with us. But as long as you remember that you still have to get up every day and do the same habits in order to eventually see that day, um, you'll be fine. You know what I'm saying? And I think that we can't overlook the fact of the instantaneous part because that we have devices that give us instantaneous gratification in other areas. So it can leak into, what I'm saying, our aspects of the gym. What I'm saying? I wanna look like this in such amount of time. So you got people who starve themselves, you know what I'm saying? But it's not necessary to do all that kind of stuff. What I did learn, a big bro put me on this, your nutrition is very important. Like when I was 280, I was working out and I was getting it, but I was still eating like a fucking raccoon. Excuse my language. I was eating trash. Like I was trash. Like I was
First of
seeing the
all, I'm sorry, a raccoon is wild. I just have to, I have to say, eat like a raccoon is wild. Okay, I'm sorry. As you were,
oh, for real. So, well, yeah. So once I learned that nutrition is is equally as important as working out, things clicked, and I started seeing progress a little bit faster. You know what I'm saying? Because your body that isn't processing refined sugars and all these different things. So, yeah. So for anybody, it's going to be a slow process. Take it slow. Don't try and do too much. Set one goal at a time and build on that. And trust me, you'll see the day where you be looking back and it's like, man, it's been that long. Because honestly, like, so I'm back in Washington and I'm coming up on my year, and I can see the progress from when I got here to where I am now. Like when I got here, I was barely putting up I was barely putting up 185. I was struggling. And so honestly, like last week I put up 275. And so now I'm gonna make my goal to hit over three by my anniversary. So I actually had set it for like next week, but I was like, oh, I'm not gonna try and rush it and then try and like hurt myself. So I'm gonna at the end of my year, if I get 315, then I'm good because going from 185 to 315 a year for me, I'm good with that. So yeah, it's been a slow process, but we still out here, we still grinding. You just gotta wow. One of the things that I know for me is big is that I have to learn how to love the process. Like I forget who I heard that from, but learning to love the process, what I'm saying, has become a big help because you get people that get up and like, I don't want to go, I don't want to go. Like, yeah, I have those days, but more often than not, I love it because I know what it's doing for me. You know what I'm saying? I know it's building good habits. I know physically it's going to change me. It's just it's been nothing but productive for me being in the gym. But yeah.
that's what's up. I appreciate what you just said because me, myself personally, I don't, why do people say that? Me, myself personally. Anyways, because for myself, I recently started a new journey um, in working out, tracking what I'm eating, counting carbs and calories and protein and fat and all of that.
Mm.
And at first, I was like, okay, I'm going to work out. I'm going to exercise because I don't have a gym membership, but it's so much stuff that you can do at home with so much that you already have. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like 5 days a week. I'm going to do this. This is what I told myself, right? So I did the alarm clock. I said, all right, 6 a.m. alarm clock. You have to get up and wake up at 6 a.m. 6 a.m. alarm clock went off. I did that. Shut it off. Went back to sleep. But slept for like a little 45 minutes, woke back up. Okay, now let me attempt this workout that I was supposed to do at 6 o'clock. Next day, still 6 a.m. Woke up. So eventually I did that, and I still have that alarm that goes off at 6 a.m. And eventually I started going from waking up, let me fall, I fell back asleep, wake up, fall back asleep. The next week I started working out 2 days a week. The next week after that, I pushed it and I did 3 days a week. And then I
Mm-hmm.
had some times where the next week I kind of fell off, but then I'm like, okay, well, you did feel better when you were doing that. You did it before. Why can't you just go do it again? So I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, your plan. Go back to doing what you was doing. So still had the alarm clock going off and made it back to 3 days a week. But then I wasn't tracking and watching my food. I laughed so hard about eating like a raccoon because that's what I was doing. I was doing the wake up. I was doing to let me go ahead and exercise, but I was still trash, trash, trash. Because me, I say used to because I fixed that problem. I used to like to snack late at night, and let me find me some
Mm-hmm.
sour gummy worms, some sour straws, or let me give me a Three Musketeers late at night. Sugar, 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 sugar. Everything I don't need, but let me go ahead and do that. So finally, I made it a point. I'm getting rid of all of this sugar. I'm not touching it. It was just, it's not good. It's going in the wrong direction. My blood sugar is looking crazy. You don't need this or need to have it anyway. So get rid of all of this. But I substituted it. I started buying cherries. So bags of cherries. So it got to the point where when I wanted that late night snack, I'm gonna go get me some of these cherries because they sweet and it's healthier for me because it's fruit, it's natural sugar, to the point now
Mm-hmm.
where I don't even think about a late night snack like that unless I absolutely need some type of late night snack, blood sugar wise or something like that. So
Yeah.
understanding that it takes time and it's a slow process is like so real, because that's what I'm learning right now in real time with this new journey that I'm on. And I know my goal is to get up to at some point 5 days a week of working out. That's my goal. And then I also, there's another goal. I said I want to be able to and don't y'all talk about me, but I want to be able to touch my toes without bending my knees. Because a lot of us old heads, we go to touch our toes, our knees bend, and you hear that snap, crackle, pop like it's some Rice Krispies.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, we turning 40, cuz.
Yeah,
We
yeah, yeah,
40, okay? Listen,
yeah.
I ain't trying to have no snap, crackle, and pops over this way, okay? So I'm getting it
That's a
together,
fact.
going into my 40 the right way. So setting myself up for success, because I don't have children yet. And I want to do I want to make it do what I do with my kids when I have them. And I still plan on having kids. So you talking about that slow process is so real. And I resonate with that because I'm doing that in real time and teaching myself and learning so much more about myself and finding out how strong I really am. And it's about changing the mindset. Like you said, with that changed mindset, you can't really stop me from, you know what I'm saying, what I want to do once my mind is made up. It
That's a
ain't
fact.
no stopping me. And you
That's a
said that
fact.
the number one thing, prove to yourself that you had to prove to yourself. So in all things, while we're trying to prove something for other people, we have to prove it to this person right here that we see in the mirror. But
Yeah,
yeah, go ahead.
yeah. So one thing that I want to say before I forget when we're talking about power, one thing that has been really helpful for me is the power of planting seeds. And so what I mean by this is like I'll so I heard Boosie say motivation don't get you through a lot of stuff. Or he said something to that extent where basically motivation isn't going to get you through. And I agree, motivation isn't always going to get you through. Definitely discipline, but when you plant seeds of motivation, when you plant seeds, there's going to be times where you're going to need that to come back to you. So basically, what energy you put out is the energy that you get back. Because I put it on everything I love. There was a day like I'd be texting people like, yeah, let's get it, like let's hit the gym, like we about to kill it, all this kind of stuff, right? Because I'd be up like 2 in the morning, like my day be starting at like 2 in the morning, and so I'm at the gym by 5. I'll be, hey, let's make sure we get it. Hey, get your like I know you better be working out, right? And so, you said earlier there's some days that we all fall off, and I've had those days where I fell off. But in those days that I fell off, somebody texts me, hey, yo better be at the and I'm like, oh yeah, I needed that, and that would get me to the gym. And so the power of planting seeds, like the energy that you put out, you're gonna have a return to you, and it's gonna return to you on a day that you're not expecting, but you need. And so I would request from people to make sure, like, whoever you got in your circle, like if you got some gym buddies, like always send them messages about let's get it. Like even friends, like no matter what it is, what I'm saying? Send your friends a message like, we're going to kill it today. We're going to kill it this week. We got this, whatever it is, because one of them, one day, is going to give you the energy you need to get through the day. And that's very important. And so the power of planting seeds is it's real. It's real. Like, that's just real.
That's dope. Because what I hear you saying is not just with the gym, but anything that you want to achieve, anything that you want to do, any goal that you're trying to reach, have you a community that's gonna hold you accountable.
Hmm.
And that's something that I do have. And I get the messages, and I was like, oh snap, okay. Eb, you didn't track your food today. Get on it, because
Yeah.
I'm out here encouraging. Okay, sis, yeah, you got this, girl. Yeah, you did that. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna try that tomorrow. And then the next day when I fell off, I saw that message. You got this, Ed. You know what? I do got this. You right, you
Yeah.
right, you
Yep.
right. So having a community in any and everything that you do, that they know what the goal is. They like-minded people, having like-minded people in your corner for the things that you want to do, for the places you want to be, for the goals that you want to reach. That is major. That's major and
Yeah.
is necessary, especially in the day and age we in now.
Yeah. Because if you don't have somebody to challenge yourself, then I look at it like this: like the people that don't challenge me to be better aren't the people that truly looking out for me and love me. You know what I'm
That's
saying? Like
real.
we can have friends and we can have associates, you know what I'm saying? But you can see who's separating themselves in regards to relationship wise and who you can count on, and because we have different containers that we put people in, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? Like some people we can call on for like some real life stuff and they listen. Some people I could call you and talk to you about some music, some basketball, but that's about it. I ain't talking about my personal life. So, and so, yeah, like you said, having that community, having those people to keep you accountable is really important. I remember being in the military and like some people that I was working with at one point in time. So we call her Alarcon. That was her last name. So like I had told everybody in my shop, I said, hey, if you see me eating sweets, knock it out my hand, right? She took it serious too. I walked there. I said I had just got done eat. I think it may have been Subway or something. Somewhere I could buy some cookies. I think it was Subway. I walked in happy. Doop boop pop pop. She said, "Bam!" I said, "I did tell y'all to knock that shit out of my hand though." And I just had to go sit down because I was like, she held me accountable. Like, and that's like you got to look at yourself and you got to be able to say like, okay, I was wrong in that moment. I shouldn't have had that. Like they was right for doing it. And so like the people that challenge you, like you gonna feel some type of way, but they doing that out of love. You know what I'm saying? And that's the biggest thing. Like it's always out of love. So if you take it any other way, then you know what I'm saying, you the one that's in the wrong. So
Being able to receive that accountability, because you talk that's hilarious. Man, I would have laughed so hard. Like,
hey, I was hurt.
I bet you that cookie was good. Not no more. But when you have
Shout out to Al.
well, when you have people to hold you accountable, being able to receive that accountability, being open, you told them to. So you would have been dead wrong if you would have. Why you knocked that out my hand?
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Yo,
Yeah,
you told me to do this. I'm holding you accountable. I'm trying to help you. I ain't got to
yeah,
do this in real
yeah.
life. But this is what you said you wanted me to do. So I'm doing this. So for you to just say, I told y'all to do that. You know what? I'm gonna go sit down. I'm gonna be
Yeah,
talking, yeah, but I'm gonna go sit down.
yeah.
but, but being able to receive the accountability, that is huge. That is huge. I have one final question for you, and this is a question of give advice. What would you say to that person that is doing things for the validation of others? What would you say to them in order to get them out of that, to move forward, to let them know that you don't have to do things to validate yourself to other people?
Mm. So I, my advice to them would be to, you know what I'm saying, look at why they are doing the things that they want to do. And at the end of what they're doing, what is it going to gain out of it? So, like, when you get done proving to all these people, whatever it is, like, what do you get out of it? Because I'm going to be honest, it's probably a 10 times out of 10, they don't even care. So, when you out here doing that stuff, you know what I'm saying, for the wrong people,
Yeah.
actually losing time. You know what I'm saying? And time is important. And like, oh, and so like the reason why I was hurt, like going back into my relationship part, the reason why uh, I was hurt is because of the time wasted. Like putting so much time into focusing on that person and that person don't want you. And then realizing 10 years later, I wasted 10 years of my life on somebody that didn't want me, which I could have put that 10 years into doing what? Myself, and imagine how far I would have got with myself. So when we do stuff for other people that's not out of love, what are we doing? We're wasting time. You know, you're gonna get satisfaction out of it, but okay, how far will that satisfaction carry you? You know what I'm saying? So, evaluate your reasons as to why you do the things that you do. And if you have a good head on your shoulders, you'll see whether it's right, you'll see whether it's wrong. But at the end of the day, if that's what you choose, you're gonna learn the hard way of wasting time rather than taking advice of somebody who's already wasted time and telling you it's not worth it.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Listen, this has been so good. This has been hilarious. This has been so good and
Yeah.
so much insight. And I thank you because you said a lot of stuff that resonated with me with this new journey I'm on. And I'm over here like a baby deer that just came out. My legs are shaking. So I'm new to this.
Yep.
Okay. So I'm learning to give myself grace while
Mm.
going through this journey because it's not easy going from zero and in my mind telling myself, yeah, I'm gonna work out 5 days a week. Girl, you ain't worked out in about 2, 3, 700 years. You finna go do 5 days a week. Where you gonna
Mm.
be somewhere up under a rock somewhere because you're gonna get up in there and you think you about to go hard and you can't do that. You can't do that. And your body gonna reject that because girl, why you doing all that? Where this come from? What is this? So then
Yeah.
you're gonna be feeling like crap, and then you're not gonna go back. So I'm learning and learning to give myself grace through this process. So I appreciate what you're saying, doing the little goals because that's lets me know I'm on the right path to doing what I am doing. Because you saying set the alarm clock, that's exactly how I started out by setting my alarm clock for that 6 a.m. every day to train my body and train my mind to okay, you know what, this is what we're gonna do. So I thank you for sharing your story, sharing your success story, how you turned your pain into power, and the different variations, the different stories that you even gave us. It's amazing. And for the outcome that it has brought to you today, you are an amazing freaking dad. I love seeing you with your kids. I
Mm.
love seeing you with your kids because
Ah.
y'all three right there, a whole vibe. For real, for real. Y'all a whole
Mm.
vibe. Do you have anything you want to say before anything you want to say, anything you want to share, any piece of advice, tip, nugget, anything you want to drop before we go?
Uh, hey, like I said, everybody got potential. It's just about who is disciplined enough to um turn that potential into a very beautiful sculpture. So if no matter where you at, so one of the things that I definitely want people to understand is no matter what it is we all have to start out learning at some point. Nobody was born with knowledge off the bat that is like, I know how to build a car, or I know how to I'll say milk a cow, but that's but what I'm saying we are not born with knowledge, and so it's all right not to know. And that's the biggest thing, is to be honest with yourself. If you don't know something, be honest. I don't know this. If you in the gym and you don't know something, you see somebody doing something that you think, oh hey, like, I'm new to this. Can you give me some advice, or whatever it is? You know what I'm saying? Like, I tell my kids, because I try to work with them. We've been working on, like, Korean. We was working years ago, but I was telling them, like, I don't want you to think it as it being difficult, because like, you didn't know English. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you learned because of how often it was being spoken. You was around it 24/7. It's like, no, the only difference is we wasn't born in Korea, so we not around Korean speaking. It's not hard to learn. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just that you have to build those habits of practicing that every day. And so, yeah, we all got the potential to turn anything into power. Definitely use the dark moments to find out who you truly are, but dig in. You know what I'm saying? Kick some butt. You know what I'm saying? Build your community of accountability, because that's definitely important. Because if you try to do it alone, it definitely does get lonely. It definitely does suck, and you can find yourself not progressing as fast or whatever. But shout out to all my family, what I'm saying, from the top down. Shout out to my parents, shout out to my brothers and sisters, or my sister, shout out to the cousins, everybody, what I'm saying, to the kids, everybody that's on here. See y'all soon, everything.
That's what's up. I thank you so much. As y'all can see, my family's a vibe. Y'all, it's not just me, as you can see.
Mhm.
We share this together. I'm just saying it's a family thing. This is just how we are. We are a vibe together. All right. So once
You.
again, I thank you again. Thank you for your service. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Y'all, this has been another amazing Wake 'em Up Wednesday live, where we talking about people turning their power, into pain. Flip it over, turning their pain into power. Okay.
Yeah.
Until next Wednesday, I have another cousin brother coming to grace the power seat. We had Aaron Smith, aka Fridge, in the power seat tonight. Like I said, my family is a whole vibe. So y'all about to get this work for all of February with the black men in my family for Black History Month. So up until next week, Aaron, thank you so much. This is my cousin brother, my first cousin. I thank you. I appreciate you so much. Up until
Thank
next
you.
week,
Thank you.
you so welcome. You are so welcome. Until next Wednesday, y'all. Guess what? I see y'all then with another Pain into Power episode. Up until then, I'll holla.
Tune in.